Good afternoon. We are back from recess. It is 4 p.m. and we are picking up with our second public hearing, which is a public hearing on the 2024 through 2025 Biennium budget, general government, which includes the assessor's office, auditor's office, commissioner's office, treasurer's office, human resources, central services, and information technology. I will pass it to Nicole Martinez, our budget and fiscal manager.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. Nicole Martinez, Budget and Fiscal Manager. As the Chair stated, we're stepping off with a 4 o'clock public hearing for the general government. This is in response to our 2024-2025 budget development, and we're going to start with the Assessor's Office. Oh, I'm going to hand it over to Robin.
So just want to say how much we appreciate the offices and department officials who've shown up this afternoon.
Yes.
And the work that they and all of their staff have done toward this budget before we launch it.
Yes, thank you very much for all your work and working with you guys. It's been some time, and I appreciate everything that you've all done, so thank you. Okay, so the Assessor's Office. So the assessor appraises property values and maintains property information. And so I'm going to jump into some of the policy level changes that are included in the 24 and 25 budget. So a property control analyst, reactivating classification for the chief appraiser, and a general fund reduction. So for 2024, the total budget in the preliminary budget is $5.5 million, and in 2025, $5.6 million. The auditor administers elections, recording, and licensing, provides county financial services, and the policy level changes included in the 24 and 25 biennium include presidential election year funding from the Election Stabilization Fund, new elections equipment, extends positions to preserve historical documents, the Student Hubs Grant, increases security at the Election Center at Mottman, funding for additional election security upgrades, and also a general fund reduction. For 2024, the total budget is $11.9 million, and in 2025, $10.7 million. Central Services provides facility equipment, fleet, archives, and mail services to county offices. The policy level request in the 24-25 biennium is a facilities control specialist. In 2024, the budget is $56 million, and in 2025, $50.3 million. The Board of County Commissioners enacts county laws and sets county budget, monitors funds, oversees departments. Some of the policy level change requests in the 24 and 25 biennium include a budget senior management analyst, a grants consultant, a public information specialist, funding for audiovisual equipment. It establishes the county court alternative program. Also, it includes grant carry forward for the Historic Commission projects. Also, funding for the Yelm Rainier Tenino Trail for the City of Rainier recreational park improvements, and also the general fund reductions. So for 2024, the total budget is $66.8 million, and in 2025, $45.2 million. This includes operating and capital. So the Board of County Commissioners includes a lot of funds that oversee many operations within the county. So non-departmental, this houses the countywide activities and initiatives and for external partnerships. The policy level request within the non-departmental is stipends for advisory boards. It is also discontinued the TC Media contract. There is the road levy shift, cost of living adjustments, and there is also a general fund reduction. So for 2024, the total budget is $4.9 million, and in 2025, $4.4 million. Human Resources provides personnel and risk management services to the county offices. The policy level requests in the 24 and 25 biennium include a human resource specialist, a risk analyst, and risk fund expenditure authority, and a general fund reduction. So for 2024, the total budget is $11.2 million, and in 2025, approximately $12.1 million. Information technology ensures that county information technology systems and infrastructure are up to date and support the county-wide's work. The policy level requests are for Axon Justice Premier Enterprise Digital Evidence Management System. This is in support of PAO, the prosecuting attorney, and public defense. Also, an update to the ERP contract to extend the positions associated with implementing that system, and also the network division FTE, a position as a network division. The 2024 budget is $21 million, and in 2025, approximately $17.5 million. The treasurer maintains or manages public funds for the county and small jurisdictions, receives tax payments, and pays debts. The change request within the treasurers is an adjustment to the FTE, it's adjustment to our allocation. The total budget is $10.4 million, and in 2025, it is $9.9 million. That was a quick overview, but that is very high level for all of the departments and what is included in the 24 and 25 biennium. And commissioners, that's all I have for you this afternoon.
Thank you. I will open it up for questions for the commissioners at this time. Any questions? Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Fournier.
Right in here.
Hi,
Can
Commissioner.
you speak to the $20 million change from 2024 and 2025 for the county commissioner's budget?
Sure, let me turn to that slide. Yes, so the difference is ARPA. So we have ARPA funding in 2024. That funding is coming to an end in 2024. We must obligate by 2024 with all funds extended by 2026. So that is the difference there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any additional questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I will go ahead and open it up for public comment. So please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. And you will have a total of 5 minutes to provide public comment. We only have one person, and that is John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live at 9725 Rich Road Southeast. First questions which I will have has to do with the non-departmental. So I'm not sure who I'm talking to, perhaps Robin Campbell. It's non-departmental, also involved with the oversight of REIT 1. Is that part of your jurisdiction, or is that going to the commissioners?
So REIT 1 is part of the commissioners, but I would also speak to the commissioners' budget.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to be addressing that real quick like, and just 1 second. In recent times, we've had some discussion about REIT 1, and I wanted it to be put on the record that are you intending on, is the commissioners planning on approving a transfer, operating transfer of REIT 1 for $3 million plus over to be used for strictly debt service payments?
Yes, they do intend to.
Okay, and so that is, it's acknowledged and everything. And in regards to the real estate excise tax, the RCW, there was a couple of questions I have, which is because the particular process requires that the funds of REIT need to be used for purposes of specific projects listed in the capital facility plan. Could you identify those exact projects as specified in the capital facility plan that you're spending this $3 million on?
The $3 million is going toward debt payment. And the debt payment that is covered by REIT is for county facilities as specified in the bond issues. So the bond for the, I think part of it is for the new jail facility. Part of it may be for the FJC from a number of years ago. Payment of the bond now for the capital improvements of the buildings 1 through 6 on the courthouse. So they are for specific projects that were named in the bond issues.
Okay. In regards to that, so none of the actual projects are specifically mentioned in that for this payment going out, is that correct? These are bonds that pay for projects that may have been listed back in 2010, 2015, and then may occur in the future. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. The next point I'm going to bring up is in 2012, there was a resolution where identified by financial services, the capital project fund are not debt service fund per GASPA 54 of the state through the declaration. Can you please explain to me how you can, through a operating transfer, convert money that is for a particular purpose over to another purpose without having the declaration formally addressed in the capital facility plan?
So the base purpose is still to pay for those projects that were approved by the commissioners, and the bonds were specifically, as in the resolutions that established the bonds, are specifically to be paid by, in part, REIT. And that is legal, absolutely legal, as the court has said, in that the county is required in the bond resolutions to establish bond payment funds in the care of the county treasurer. And the county shifts from all accounts intended to pay for the projects that are funded by the bonds through what is called an operating transfer, as you have observed. That is a accounting term where we transfer the funds to be able to make the bond payments out of the bond payment funds.
Is there a reason why you don't just make a formal declaration, we're paying REIT to make bond payments?
We are absolutely doing that, but it's called a operating transfer, and we are required to have bond service funds, debt service funds
Okay.
to pay our bonds.
Under county code, it says all proceeds placed in real estate excise tax shall be used for purposes as authorized in 8246.010, which states in it that it has to be for the current capital facility plan. Are you saying that the county doesn't have to follow the state law?
We are following state law, which allows for bonding of this money, as you have already received the legal opinions on.
Okay. Now, I'm just going to add a little comment here. I highly suggest that no commissioner vote to support a payment of the bond or any bond from REIT, because you will be held accountable potentially for misappropriation of funds. There's currently a state audit, which may help clarify some of this information. Okay, and as far as, since we have no disagreement that that is in fact happening and what has occurred, I can leave that one alone, and I will go to other departments now. So, as far as the assessor's office, I'm going to ask is to, I realize you probably don't have any real program organized or responsibility for loans who provides you the money. Is there a reason that you're aware of that the Veterans Fund, which is for indigent veterans, is being used to provide you FTEs for the assessor's office?
Well, first of all, I did not perform the legal opinion. I'm not the county's internal auditor, but I understand that the question of whether it would be appropriate to utilize these funds for a couple limited purposes of my office operation was reviewed, and that the review said that it was appropriate. But so with that caveat, what I would say, John, is that there are two categories of activity where we interact on behalf of military. And the first is on total disability. So totally disabled military are entitled to an exemption, and our office administers that exemption. The legislature has once redefined that from 90% determined by DOD to 80% determined by DOD, and there's a bill before the legislature to reduce that to 50%. Don't know where we'll end up, probably not at 50%, but the point is that it's an unsettled area of law in our state as to what percentage of DOD determination of disability entitles an individual and a household to a property tax exemption. And whatever that ends up being, it will be administered in our office. The second category is much larger, and this category involves all of the seniors who apply for a senior exemption, all of those households. If those households, as one of the heads of household, one or two heads of household. So if one or both of those heads of household has a military service background, we will, beginning in the first of the year, keep track of every interaction as to whether the answer to that question is yes or no. And as the budget cuts my office received are very damaging to our ability to get the work done. This was an idea that came out of budget discussions that admittedly is creative, but that doesn't mean it's bad if it's appropriate. And the way that it will play out in my office is we have changed the funding for one existing FTE, 2/3 of one existing FTE, to be funded through this method. However, we will first pay for that FTE from our existing funds, and quarterly throughout the year, based on the statistics that we develop, we will claim a recovery to our general fund funds from this fund. And again, I'm advised that's the appropriate methodology and that it is an appropriate use of these funds. If that turns out to change, then we will lose a third FTE. Thank you.
I'm going to ask a follow-up. So am I correct that you are deciding that because people may receive a tax exemption, that makes them indigent veterans by definition of the RCW?
So this is not a determination that I'm making. I'm not making the legal determination. That determination was made for me, and I was advised on how to track my interaction and my labor devoted to serving these two categories of the public who may apply for an exemption.
Okay, my next one's for the auditor's office. I love these guys and everything. My question actually has to do with the payment of currently the REIT 1 fund, if I'm correct, has a negative balance. Can you confirm that?
You are correct.
So thank you for answering that. And with a negative fund balance, who is going to step up and pay for the over expenditure for the excess expenditure above and beyond the money that was collected properly through proper taxation?
Robin, do you want to address that?
Sure, I can answer that. The board has approved not only so there are 4 items that will cover the cost. First, there was funding in it's the jail project fund that was to be funded from REIT. We're closing out that fund and pulling the money that remains back into REIT. There was a capital project fund where the money was not used. There's excess that we will pull back into REIT. And then there are projects, I believe, 2 major projects that had been paid from the REIT fund that could have been paid from the building reserve fund. And so we will transfer the costs of those 2 projects out of REIT into building reserves, and that will put the fund back in the black.
Thank you. Okay. I don't see anyone. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Nicole, anything you'd like to say before we close out? Okay. Any additional questions from commissioners? Well, we have elected representatives as well as department directors here. Okay. It is 4:22. Thank you to Auditor Hall, Assessor Drew, as well as Treasurer Gadman for being here today. We are in recess until 6:56.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.